Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to Unplugged Live tonight. Adam is not here, but we've got Rodney Hunt and we've got Matt from MattMan's Solar, and he is filling in. He's going to be joining us and talk about his wild adventures with YouTube and solar and RV life, and I don't know what else because you guys may know him more than I
It's a
do.
surprise.
Brand new to me, but I do know that I have seen his stuff show up in my shorts feed, so I'm excited to talk to him about that. We were kind of saving the intros. Generally, we get to know each other a little bit beforehand, but we're like, you know what, we're just gonna get to know each other here on screen. So, welcome Matt and welcome Rodney.
Thank you.
Um,
Thanks
for
for having
those
me.
who are new to Unplugged, I'm Eric. Rodney is my co-host along with Adam DeLay, and we do this every single Thursday night, 8 Eastern time, and we talk about all things off-grid solar, DIY stuff. We kind of bunny trail off of that here and there. But do me a favor, go ahead and start queuing up your questions. If you've got questions for any of us up here, we're going to focus on questions for Matt for kind of the first part of it, and then we'll kind of branch out into some later questions. We do also have some photos to talk about from Matt's setup, and also I've got some archive photos that I pulled out from like way long time ago that Donnie sent in. Sorry, Donnie, never got your photos up, but I got them tonight. So we're going to do that. When you ask a question, QQQ before your question. That way I can make sure that I screen it and, or not screen it, like make sure, whatever. But that way I can see it. I can filter through and actually see it. So, yeah, we're so glad all of y'all are here. Man, we've got a bunch of regulars. We've got Joe Schmidt is not going to be here because he's got like a friend's birthday party or something. We've got Richard. We've got Jim. Retro Z Machine. Hey guys, Steven Frazier, man. We got Reboo's 77. All right. Hey, welcome. I don't think I've seen you in the comments, but there you maybe so. Bob Cole's here, Mike High Voltage, Farside, Ron, Betty Powers, and Rod Solar World. Man, you guys are awesome. Y'all are here all the time. We love seeing y'all. Um, and Bob's coming in with some questions. I see that. We'll get to them here in just a bit. Um, so man, y'all welcome. Uh, I guess first let's just see. Matt, who are you? What do you do?
Basically, I'm just an old engineer who spent the last 30 years working in the software industry and got bored one day. And my wife owns a coffee shop. That's where I'm actually coming from here today, is down on Cocoa Beach, right across from Ron John's. And we
I
basically,
was I at first I thought that maybe they were letting you set up in Target. So I was like, this is
yes.
interesting. All right. Like I didn't know you could
Yeah.
podcast from Target. All right.
No, it's her coffee shop. She's
Okay.
graceful enough to let me use it. We're our RV's parked right down the street off on the river, and we're over here just across the street at the beach across the street. I can almost see it from here. And
Nice.
let's get that building out of the way, and I probably could see it.
Okay.
But uh, then I got involved with solar, and you know the rest from there. It's just
Can't
it,
stop.
it just kind of escalated very quickly from there. And about 6 weeks ago, the craziest story is someone challenged me to start a YouTube channel, and I had not done it for years. I did it back when an old game I used to play. I had like 100 subscribers, and I said, "Okay, challenge accepted. Let's go." And it has been a widely wild ride since.
Did you, wait, you
It has
said
been
6 months?
weeks,
6 weeks.
weeks.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's been
So,
6 weeks. I have been.
yeah, continue.
It's just been a crazy ride ever since. The reception of the people out on YouTube, you subscribers, you guys are fantastic. It really has just been wildly successful. I've been putting out videos just left and right, probably every other day, practically for, I don't know, 6 weeks or so. But it's originally I did a bunch of different shorts and stuff, and then I just completely stopped.
So
That one just took off like crazy, and I'm like, I'm not doing nothing to mess with that. Just leave it alone. I'll never outdo that. And started running my long form videos just constantly.
yeah,
I think as of this morning, I think I was 1.6, 1.7K subscribers or something like that. It's just been a
man,
wild ride every day.
that is awesome. Is this the one that you're talking about that popped off here? This 56,000.
That is the one that popped off. Yes,
Yeah, man, yeah, I saw that.
56,000 now. Holy
Yeah,
cow!
that's awesome. So cool. And I will say, like, okay, you said your background is in engineering. Is that what you said? And
I
any
definitely have been an engineer
any
for about 30 years.
any marketing?
No, no marketing.
Okay, because I
No.
will say, just like as someone who has been in marketing for a long time, like your thumbnails are awesome. Like, are you doing these yourselves?
Yeah. Actually, no. vidIQ has a fantastic, if you know how to talk to an AI,
Uh-huh.
and then maybe that's where the engineering comes from, is
Mm.
if you know how to talk to AI, the vidIQ will build you just about any darn thing you want. Now, sometimes you have to have
Mm.
patience and you have to spend quite a bit of time fine tuning it. And if it gets it really close and you want one little change, half the time it goes completely to the other direction when you ask it again for exactly the same thing. But
That's nuts. It's been a
no,
long time since I tried vidIQ, and nothing like that was in there. So yeah,
yeah,
cool.
it actually is. And one day let me know and we'll get on the line and I'll walk you through exactly how you can use it to do something like that.
Very cool. Yeah, because I'm like,
Because
dude,
it
these,
at first it didn't do exactly what you think it would do, but
yeah.
now once you learn how to talk to it, you just got, maybe it's a she, maybe I just got a sweet talker.
Nice. Well, guys, if you're not subscribed, go over and we'll do this live right here. Subscribe to Matt's channel. And I saw you've actually got, I think you have two channels. When I was trying to tag you, it looked like you had MattMan's Solar Shorts.
I
Or is
do.
that
I
okay?
created a shorts channel at first to post all the shorts in, and then regular ones in the RV. And basically, the shorts channel, because I didn't care about shorts, I was going to use it kind of like a testing ground.
Okay.
And that was about the time I found that one that just exploded. And since then, I've just left it alone. Don't fix
Okay.
it if it isn't broken.
Okay. Cool. Man, well, congrats on starting the channel just
Thank you.
weeks ago and getting to where it took me about
Yeah,
5 years to
that's
get to.
awesome.
So fantastic. That's great. Uh, yeah. Rodney, tell us a little bit about yourself for those who are new to you, which may or may not be anybody in here. And what are you doing? What are you still working on?
What's going on, everybody? My name is Rodney Hunt. Of course, I'm doing DIY solar stuff and EV stuff, and gonna have a lot of stuff coming out. Just way behind on projects. So I did put out a video today, first time in like a month. A little update video of what I'm doing. It seems like I
Yeah.
could just work for a little bit at a time and put a video, like, put a little bit of work into something I can't finish. But I'm gonna get it done here sooner or later. I guess I need to put a video out on not getting frustrated with projects.
There we go. That's a good one. But you've been working on your grid boss system or flex boss grid boss combo, and you're tying in your 18K PV. Is that what you're tying into that? I saw
I got a 12K PV, a
12K.
Flex Boss 18, and a Grid Boss, and I'm going to be tying all those together and taking all the solar that I got going into my 6,000 XPs right now and putting it into those, and pretty much just getting rid of the 6,000 XPs once I test out everything, of
Hmm.
course, and then
Okay.
I'll be able to do bringing in the grid without having to flip breakers on and off,
Hmm.
because the Grid Boss is going to do all that. I'm not going to be selling back to the grid. This is all permitless stuff. I'm not doing any permits now. I roll me in the government. So it's going to be more work doing it the way I'm doing it, because I'm putting in another whole panel. So once I get it all done, I'll walk everybody through it and to show you what I did, and what y'all can look at what I did wrong and right. And I've ran into a couple of problems here and there, but we're going to get through it. And of course, I
Nice.
got a new EV, so I got a couple of EVs I'm going to be talking about. I'm always charging those things off grid. And
That's right.
so I just think it's a great idea. If you have extra solar and you need a daily driver kind of vehicle, you can probably go find your EV, even a used one, and at least you don't have to buy gas. So, and if there's an emergency, you can make your own power.
So I know how much I love using my electric push mower, and like I've actually purchased two of them now. I started with the DeWalt 4 or 5 years ago, and it was always a little buggy. But then I think it was last season I switched over to the Ego, just because it had way more torque and just power behind it. So I switched over to that one, and I love just going out and being able to just mow and don't have to worry about
Yeah.
ear protection or still eye protection or whatever, but don't have to
Yeah.
worry about smelling like gasoline when you're done with it. You don't stink. It's easy. It starts every time. And you don't
Yeah.
have to keep running down, buying gas because your gas is stale or whatever it is. And
Yeah. I've been
I
switching
could
pretty
see.
much all of my stuff to electric, like you were talking about, and it has been awesome. I got a post hole digger, I guess, whatever it's called. That thing's
Mm,
electric. My mower's
your auger.
electric.
Yeah.
Trimmers electric. Yeah, the auger. And
So,
man, there's nothing like it, man. You don't have to worry about the stuff sitting there for 6 months and then not working. It just
right.
works.
So I'm
So
thinking, upgrading to where your vehicle is electric too must just be like a whole nother level. Um,
yeah,
if assuming that you've got the electricity for free, or from the sun, right, as opposed
yeah.
to, buying it from the grid. And even then, it still probably feels pretty good. But
Yeah.
Matt, have you been migrating over from gas to electric at all, or you tell us about your situation?
Not with towing a fifth wheel, 42-foot fifth wheel, and gas. Pretty much get along, but I have
Yeah.
migrated completely away from like all the propane and stuff in the RV. I've gone, pure electric on my water heater. At
Mm.
least in the summer, we'll see. I've got a project going on that, if you're familiar with the channel, you'll know my solar shed. I think you've got a picture of it somewhere buried in there,
Yeah. Let's
and
go and pull it up.
it's probably one of my more popular projects because you can basically, with the solar shed, it plugs right into the RV and allows me to, when I'm at my home base down off the river, I can plug in the solar shed to like a little Victron charge controller I have in the RV, as you can see there. And then when I'm on the road, I can just pull out portable panels and plug them in instead. But that's 3,000 watts of solar sitting there on some used panels I found out on Craigslist for $15 a piece. So it cost me $180 to put the shed together. And then there's the 6000 XP, just as you both have, or Rodney's moving away from, but the 6000 XP, it's all up in the bay, except I got a couple of EG4 batteries, those 100 ampere Life Power 4s sitting behind that main wall there. So there's about
So
604 amp hours of battery power, 6000 XP, and it was a 50 amp RV in the first place. So it did run off of a split phase 50 amp circuit. And you can see I have also 3,700 watts of power on the roof. Now they are flat mounted bifacials, which I've been wanting to do a little bit of testing on that because it looks like I am going to go out on a limb and say the white roof on the under those solar panels, even though it's only 2 inches down, some light leaks through and it reflects back up into there, because I consistently get over 3,700 watts out of those panels.
Very
Either they're
nice.
really good panels or there is some bifacial effects going on at that close distance.
so my
And
question
all
is the
evidence points
6000
at.
XP. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My question is the 6000 XP. Does it get hot in there? Does it seem like it stays relatively cool? I guess.
If
Any problems with
if
that?
you pull under that picture where it goes all the way across, and you can see over on the left-hand side, right up next to that off switch for that DIY battery, you'll see a fan in the wall there, and then above it is a second one. And then on the far
Okay.
side of you see it up there in that corner there, those are
Oh yeah,
outtake
yeah.
vents. So they blow out into now if you go all the way to the other side, just on the other side of the 6000 XP, mount it right in front of it, there are two smaller fans, and you can only see them there because they're mounted sideways, blowing across the front of the XP. and it circulates all that air in and across. And then the original battery breather holes that's at the bottom of the pan where the bay is, I left the battery breather holes open and just screen those so the air could get sucked in and across. And of course, there's some vents on the very far right too. There's a few Orions over there because I yanked all the 12-volt system out completely and just used Victron Orion systems to 100% replace it. Now I did have to go with 2 of those simply because it's a 5th wheel and it's got stabilizers and everything. But I didn't want to manage 2 systems. I didn't want to manage 2 sets of chargers. I didn't want to manage 3 different sets of power. That was 3 different voltages. I didn't want to deal with 120 AC and 48 and 12 volt DC. So basically, I just eliminated all the 12 volt side of it. Well, it's not eliminated, but it just feeds directly off the 48 volt batteries. Which, if you go up just a tiny bit from there, you'll see there's a feeder meter that goes through all the DC stuff, feeds to that little meter, so I can go in there and see what the original RV. See that little meter there? That's on a little bus bar that feeds up through those switches on the top, and it goes all over to the Orions and takes care of all my 12 volt stuff. But it allows me to kind of meter what the original. I was always curious what the RV used in DC side because there's nothing there, but that runs to the main panel and gives me all the meter readings there. And then I've got of course in the top left hand corner that little video coming out soon about that. That's the my capacitor charger. So it basically has a 48 volt light bulb in it, and it just runs from the hot side of the battery on the back side of the turnoff switch right into the hot bus bar, the red bus bar. So it comes on when it's charging the capacitors, and as it dies off, you can flip everything on safely with no worry about sparks or any of that kind of stuff. Wouldn't have too much trouble like that with the EG4, but those Class T fuses like you see mounted there right above that DIY battery, we all know those darn things are expensive, and I didn't want to take any chances on popping any of them. If I don't have to anyway. Especially those 250 amp ones. Because that's running a JK BMS with a 200 amp JK BMS and 304 amp. I ordered them right before the end of the year around Thanksgiving time when I was still just extremely hobbyist. But I got into it because my wife's coffee shop, we travel a lot and we do a lot of fairs. And the big thing about fairs is that the power is just unreliable. And we did a state fair, what they call a state fair here in Central Florida. It was a Space Coast State Fair, I believe. And one night we lost power, lost the refrigeration, lost everything. So that was kind of the beginning of my journey into solar. I put we built out the RV so we could travel with it with solar, so we could just be off grid, not worry about things going out. And then we also built into the food truck. I built a 24 volt system into the coffee trailer, which runs all refrigeration, can even heat the espresso machine up on the way to an event. It has enough battery power for that. It's got the extra 2. I did order 12 panels originally for the RV. I couldn't get them all to fit. I tried and I tried. I took air conditioners off. I took this off. I patched that. I took everything off of it because I did switch to mini splits also, which was an absolute requirement if you're going to be going to solar on an RV.
I just think it's so interesting to hear everybody why they got into solar, like all the different reasons. And then you get into it, and then you just kind of, it turns into one of those hobbies that you're like, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this. It always grows. It's just funny. All the different reasons you can get into it, whether it be for emergencies or for a business or for a side business. I've heard people doing the shows on the weekends, and they're like, I need power for this and that, and selling something at a farm show or something like that. And they're like, I need my own power. So it's definitely interesting.
What was the actual convincer for me was that hurricane that we had late last year. And I used my solar trailer. I left my RV parked at the beach and it was flooded. It had 3 feet of water, so I couldn't use it. So I have an RV all powered up, got internet, it's got Starlink, the whole thing. I couldn't get to it because it had 3 feet of water around it. And I have a 24 volt, 100 amp food trailer that we used to run the whole house for 4 days while the power was out. So that right there was the deciding factor for me. I'll never stay for another hurricane again. I'm going to jump in my RV and go hide.
Man, I tell you, speaking of food trailers, I was at Lowe's picking up some stuff for a project a couple days ago, and you know, they've got food trucks out there now. It used to just be the hot dog guy, right? But now they've got the food
Yeah.
trucks, and they've got those generators just brrrr, just going, and it's like I can't hardly wait to get out of the parking lot just because of how obnoxious they are. And you kind of
Yeah.
forget about that, because a lot of us off-grid guys, we started off running generators all the time. Like I ran my generator here for probably 2, 3 years. And, before I even got my grid power hooked up. And man, it was just so obnoxious. And then you get it turns off or you walk in and you get through the doors and you're just like, oh, like, man.
Especially
That's one
when
of
they
the
have
things I'm going to
inverter
do.
generators today. It doesn't make sense. I
They,
wouldn't have a business like that and make people mad because it's so loud when you can
I
buy an
wouldn't go
inverter
get food there,
generator.
even if it was amazing food. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't go stand right there. And if they would just spend a few bucks on a few bucks, we all know it's more than a few bucks, but if they would swap over to some batteries and an inverter, they could do everything they need to do. And yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say this weekend I have a show on Saturday. My wife has a show, and we have a Predator 9500 inverter generator that I have to run because it's a coffee trailer. But
Yeah.
I've got my meter that I built. That's my one I use to measure power usage for the RV when I was determining what I needed
Mm-hmm.
to fix, cut, change to make it work on solar. And I'm going to measure its total usage this weekend and find out what it's going to
Mm-hmm.
take, because I think it would be actually a real draw to pull up an 100% solar coffee trailer
Oh yeah.
and be totally independent of power. I can't imagine it would
Yeah,
take that
smash the
much. I
like button
mean,
for that, everybody. Man.
yeah,
Yeah. And dude, you could totally like there could be an entire I know there's niche channels everywhere, but you could make an entire channel of just converting food trucks to solar. And
Yeah. That's
that
like the
would
guy
that would
with the
take off like
solar
crazy.
lawn business
Mhm.
and the
the
Tesla.
solar lawn
You know?
business, and I do,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I do. RVs, trailers, small systems like that. It's just that's exactly what it's
Okay.
all about for me.
See, I need to
I'll
watch some
get
of
to
your
the house
stuff.
stuff later
Yeah.
when I just get tired of living on the beach.
All right, we got some more people that are showing up. Chris is in the house. Eric George. Let's see. I'm trying to see who else is showing up since we looked through here. PM. Let's see who else. Looking back down, James G. Man, more people showing up. Stephen D. Hey everybody. So welcome,
And they're
welcome.
telling me there's questions, so I don't know why they're telling me. I'm not running it.
Okay. Running out there are
Oh,
questions to be answered. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. All right.
yeah.
Well, let's go look at some questions, shall we? I'm going to go QQQ, and I'm going to look at over here. Bob has got the first question up, and look at that. I got it formatted well this time. Did
Bam.
anyone else get a required firmware update required for life power batteries?
What do you
No.
mean required?
Yeah, what do you mean required? Like, is this
No.
like whenever your terms of
A
use?
force update?
It's like I'm sorry, we won't BMS won't
How?
turn on until you update. Man, I didn't
Nah, I
get
don't even look
that.
at
I
that
didn't
stuff.
see that.
I try not to update anything unless I have a problem.
I know that
That's my whole
the
deal.
firmware on my three wall mount batteries are not in sync, which is not recommended. Um, and I don't remember the last time. I guess it's been 6 months or so since I updated the server rack, so I haven't even looked at all that. So Bob, unfortunately, no. If anybody else has seen that or has an answer, I guess let us know. Let's see, Eric. Will EG4 LL and LifePower 4 batteries communicate together? I have not personally tried. I'm pretty sure they do, though.
They do.
Okay.
They do. Sometimes you have to put them in a specific order, though. I don't
Yeah.
remember which order it goes in, but it's like
Sometimes you can put all the
old.
LLs at the
Yeah,
end or something.
That's it. I think it's the
I would
LLs
have
at
thought
the
the
end. The one
LLs
with the
would.
4 switches goes at the beginning, and the one with the 6 switches goes at the end. Something
Okay,
like that.
Yeah, I think so.
nice. But yes, they absolutely will.
And some of the batteries that have like the S's and the ones that have the what is it? The where it turn the breaker off automatically. What's it called? but they have
The
to
rapid
cut a
shutdown.
wire or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, all the rapid
Yeah.
shutdown stuff. It's
there's a ton of videos on that kind of stuff. I haven't made any because I just never connected any of the other ones. I only have Life Power 4 hooked up. I have 20 batteries, but only my Life Power 4s are the ones communicating with my inverters, because I think I have 11 communicating, which is plenty because it's going to take the full charge and discharge, and it's just going to use the power from all 20 batteries. So
right.
some people don't like that. They're like, they should all be communicating. Man, my stuff works
I
fine.
was really up and wild. Like I spent a long time just letting those batteries sit idle because I was scared to connect them all together. And then I just did it, and it's just like, this is great. Double the capacity, just like that. Yeah.
I took all my LifePod 4 batteries, connected them to the Solar Assistant, and I took the DIY battery, connected to the Home Assistant, pulled all the stats in together, and I run off a voltage. I'm open loop.
All right.
Again,
Oh, yeah.
not gonna go. I don't think I'll go back ever again. Just
Okay.
too many problems with it.
Okay. What problems were you having with open or with closed loop?
I don't like the way when it gets to the peak charge, it likes to shut things off early, or especially the 6000 XP has a funky, especially now. This latest upgrade has been really problematic for, I've got a whole, you've probably seen the video on that too, where it's got that spike of power up and down when it gets to the full charge. It doesn't honor any type of float whatsoever. Its float is basically, it goes up to, let's say 60, let's say you have it set to 52 or 56 volts, 56.2, it'll get there, and when it drops below 4 amps of charge, it will cut off, and when it gets down below the thing, it'll spike up to 10 amps again and charge it back up, and then it'll turn off at 4, and it'll drop back down. And it just goes up and down, and it's endless. It never ends. So if you have a full charged battery, it will sit there for 8 hours just pumping it over and over and over and over.
Interesting.
As far as I know, they haven't got a second patch out of it. They did do one patch, but I don't think they intended to fix it. They just asked me to check to see if it did fix it, and it has not.
Okay. Good deal.
But little things like that, and plus adding the DIY battery kind of made it you're only going to have half of it in there anyway.
Right, for sure.
All right, and of course we're doing a live stream, so it just started thundering outside here. I don't know why it's always thundering
Rodney,
and lightning and
do you have
raining
any
whenever
boxes?
it's time to stream.
Well, at least you're
you got enough batteries.
There's no boxes outside.
All right, that's good. So, well, yeah, at least you're on fiber instead of, us out here on Starlink where it's like, a dark cloud rolls over and it's gone. Speaking of Starlink, guys, I've got a bunch of Starlink videos that are going to be coming. I'm going to try to get my entire 10-acre property covered by Wi-Fi just to see if I can do it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm going to put together 12 Starlink mini routers in mesh to see if I can do it, or router minis, just to see if I can do it. And then give away a bunch of the routers. So that's going to be coming. Although I did just see they said, no. We said it was 12. No, it's only 3 work together. So maybe we're going to have to put it to the test. Let's see. That's that. Betty had a question that disappeared. There it is for Rodney. Rodney, you got an answer?
Oh,
you're waiting for
are
me
you
to
gonna sell them 6,000 XPs? I'm willing to pay for shipping. I will let y'all know. I told y'all I might not do anything with them, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
If the other
he
stuff's
ain't
working
selling
good,
nothing. He's gonna build it all up.
I might use them as a backup. I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. If I get more inverters that I can use as a backup to the ones I have, I just like having backup. So I don't know if I'm gonna sell them. Even if I
as a prepper,
I'd probably give them away.
Yeah, as a prepper, it's really tough to get rid of an inverter. And
that works because I've been using it for years.
Right. All right. I was gonna flip over real quick as a PSA. Let's see. Where is it? This one right here. Okay, guys, I got this email just before the show started. Boost your power this Memorial Day. This is from Signature Solar. This is not a paid sponsorship or anything, just something I thought was a good deal. 3% off one battery, 6% off two batteries, and 9% off of 3+ batteries. And I think they have $150 flat rate shipping.
Over $5,000.
Over $5,000. So, and then
Yeah.
also Rodney said that there was another deal
5%
going
off
on,
for a military, I think, as well.
military discount for Memorial Day. And then also, of course, if you use any of our links, I'm not sure if Matt has a link. You can get an additional $50 off of, I guess, any of these things that would be ordered. And also want to say, just as guys, when y'all use our links, we really do appreciate it. It's about the only thing that keeps us able to constantly put this stuff out. But I will say, if you're going to prioritize anything, the link would be the best thing for us, to click our links. Otherwise, we very well may not get credit for it. And then if you are putting in a huge order, because we've seen a lot of massive orders come through, like, $15, $20, $30,000 orders, and then they fail for some reason. I think it's maybe people are trying to get financing. If that happens to you and you go away and then you come back and try, like, we're not going to get credit. You're not going to get your discounts.
Yeah. Or if you
So
call in, and do it over the phone, So if you want to support somebody, if you're going to be buying this stuff anyway, you might as well support somebody. If it's me, Eric, Matt, Adam, another YouTuber, whoever, I would go support somebody. It's just like when I went and bought my Tesla, I found somebody who was informative on YouTube that I enjoyed their stuff with me learning about it. And I went and used his link because he gets like $250 because I bought the car and I was going to buy it anyway. So, you always try to do that. Or if you're going to go buy something on Amazon, you go use Eric's link for Amazon. Anything you buy, he get a small commission from it. And it doesn't cost you anything more, but you help out somebody, especially somebody you enjoy watching, and that's helped you out at some point. Just try to help out the creators or whoever it is.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Just want to let y'all know, if you are like initially starting that project, trying to get funding, and then you like go elsewhere and come back, just double check if you're trying to give us credit, because we're not going to get it otherwise. We'll just put it that way. So yeah, let's move on to something a little less awkward. I hate talking about money, but it does keep us here. I'll just keep doing this stuff. So, PM said, hey, I should probably move over to the other thing, because this is not, hold on.
Well, some weeks we don't talk about it at all because we forget to tell them about the links.
That's true. That's true. Oh, also, wait a second. I want to go right now, and we still haven't built this site out yet. It's just bare bones, but to find all of our links, at least Adam, Rodney, and I, my computer's running so sluggish right now. I can't get it up. Okay, there we go. Unplugged.solar. I'm going to jump back over here, see if it'll do it. Unplugged.solar is the place to go just to find all of our links. You'll find all of our past stuff. There you go. Rodney dropped it in there. I was just going to bring it up here. It's got links to our stuff. Subscribe to our channels. There it is. Look at that. It just automatically brings in the latest shows. You can watch the replays, all the things, and we're going to continually build this out. If you want to send pictures, we're probably going to make it even a little bit better here over time. So just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention.
Do you have an affiliate link?
I do not. I do have intentions to get one next week, though.
Fantastic.
I've got it all set up, got it all scheduled, but we'll see what happens next week.
Great. Right. Good deal, man. Okay.
We don't want to leave you out.
That's right.
Nah.
That's right. Okay.
We're all good.
So we're going to get back to PM's question, if it'll let me push this button. It's not working. There it goes. All right. Guys, is GrowWatt 10K still a thing versus 12,000 XP? I'm currently running an 8K GrowWatt with 4 EG4 batteries, V1. I don't know why it's a little dyslexia. And 16 16 445 solar river. Okay. My current. All right, cool. My current stragglers are overloading and unable to add panels to 8K. Okay. I don't know. You guys have any idea?
I don't know if Signature Solar still sells it or not, but I mean it was. I'd have to go look, but they're probably phasing out a lot of their Grow Watch stuff just because their EG4 stuff is just so good now. I mean, if you want to get something and you get that 12,000 XP, you're gonna be able to add a lot of panels to that thing. I can't remember how many it is now, but it's a ton of power. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking to add more power in solar, that is a good inverter to go with. That's
I'm
what's running
gonna.
my building right now, and that's what I charge my EVs with every single day.
Hmm.
And the thing's been running like a champ. And I've been running that thing hard. So
James G says Watts 24/7 is a good source for Grow Watts, so check that out. Also, I want to let's see. Oh, I don't want to push that button there. Sorry, I'm getting confused with my windows. I want to
Looks
bring
like
up.
they've only got the 3 and the 5Ks over on Signature Solar site.
Okay.
yeah.
Let's get all the way to the end here. Man, my computer is lagging. Okay. Not to rag on you here.
They do got the not to interrupt you. They do have the Grow Watt 10K, the hybrid one. So they do have that one now. So yeah, they do have some of the hybrids.
Okay.
That's
They
the
do?
new
I
one
didn't
that
see it.
hadn't been out that long. It's $2,263 for the 10K. I don't know if I haven't seen a video on it, so I don't know how
Okay.
it is, but they do have that one. It's a newer one. So
Cool.
I don't know how it will be compared to the 12,000 XP. I have to look at all the specs, but
All right. I want to bring up Justin Bell here. Man, you know, he said, I wish I wasn't too poor to get started. Assuming I'm not reading this out of context, I think you're talking about solar. Man, I think I'm getting a feedback. Y'all hearing that echo feedback?
I heard it.
Okay. I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe I'm too loud or something. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, man, I think we've all been there. And definitely don't like put your family in a bind trying to get solar. But let's all like throw out some like what is a good place to start, because you don't have to go all the way. You don't have to, you know, solar is an iterative game, right? We can just build upon what we've started with. And I think most of us here started with a 12-volt battery and a Schumacher inverter from Walmart. At least that's where I started, right?
If it's just for emergencies, what I would start with, if you have a vehicle, it's got a 12-volt battery, I start with an inverter for that 12-volt battery and use your car as a generator.
That's right.
And start your car every once in a while. At least you can run some lights, charge your phone, do a couple minor things, maybe even run your fridge if you're kind of watching it. You know, you need to be careful with it, but you can do a lot with your car battery if you start the car every 30 minutes. But, you know, that'd be the cheapest way to start, but that's not solar exactly, but it is backup power with an inverter, and you can always add a solar panel
And
in the future. And you can buy one at Harbor Freight on
Matt,
Facebook Marketplace.
how cheap can you get solar panels? Did Matt disappear?
If
Matt.
I've got a video.
Oh.
No, I'm here.
Oh, your video's messed up.
I've got a
Dude, it's
video
good.
on my website. Yeah, I'm rebooting it because I kicked it on accident when I leaned back in my chair. But I've got a video on my website where I found 12 solar panels for $180 and built an entire solar shed with 3,000 watts of power. So you could
$180.
go out there, you can see that video. It's about 5 minutes long. It shows you how to hunt them down, how to peck exactly what I did, and sometimes it takes a little while, but for that price, you can't beat it.
Yeah, absolutely. So just because like you see some of us playing with some of the latest and greatest in the off-grid solar world doesn't mean you can't start somewhere. And in fact, it's not, unless you've got a plan, it might not be the best thing to try to jump into something too big. So you're going to say something,
And
Rodney.
if you watch this stream, we've been giving away quite a few things.
And we got quite a few more things to give away.
And we got
confirmed.
some more stuff to give away. So I would just watch every week. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's a great idea
and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
it's also a great idea if you're going to get into it. Start with something small. Go take an entertainment center or a TV or something, and just learn to build a little system and take that off grid at first. You know, you can learn a lot with a couple $100 and some used equipment. Know what you really want to do with it later. You don't have to go with a full off-grid system at this point.
And a lot of us have other hobbies that we like, and solar is going to turn into a hobby if you start it. So I would treat it like that from the beginning and just say, hey, this other hobby, I don't really do it a lot. And maybe you could sell something that you have that, you don't use all the time. You might have a dirt bike or something. I don't know. You can sell it, and then you can start your new hobby with that, and it'll be beneficial as well because it'll be getting used all the time. So you just have to look at it in different ways. It just depends on what your priorities are and, if you're able to do that. Some people are.
Absolutely. Cool. I am trying to close stuff down because my computer was running so sluggish. All right. See if we can get back up here. More questions. QQQ. Here we go. Sorry to take that little detour from y'all's questions, but I just wanted to address it real quick because I think we've all felt that. Where are we at next? Okay, so
yeah, what I think we need to do is convince someone to help us out with a giveaway that does a whole system. Now that'd be awesome.
Whoa.
And then we can meet up and help them install it. I'm talking about something big,
That'd be
just
awesome.
a big thing, and just
That'd
go
be so
somewhere
cool.
and show up at their house with all the stuff. Like let everybody register for it, And
Well,
then
I
they
think
would
it would
say,
have
hey,
to
where they live and all that, and then we just show up and install it. That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I guess.
We could all have live cast streams every day.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So, anyone see the solar surge video on the home? It disappeared. All right, on the home grid, grid box high voltage batteries. Each battery is 30 kilowatt hours. I did not.
I did not.
Nope.
I saw some of his stuff because he does a lot of stuff with James from EG4. So.
Next question. If building a new system, if you couldn't go with EG4 inverters, what would you go with? Man,
Lux power.
Lux power. I'd go Victron, but that's because really that's
I like those midnights. I'd like to try one of those out.
Yeah,
like
midnight
from the videos
nice.
I've seen from Adam. They look pretty nice.
Yeah.
They do look nice.
Adam's midnight videos are pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I need to try out some more stuff and let you guys know what, because I've tried out the EG4 stuff, and I've got the Sun Gold over there, and there's this like no name one that my brother-in-law has that I've been looking at, or that we tried out, and it just ended up being a nightmare for him. And so yeah, I mean, so far of everything I've tested, the EG4 stuff has come out on top.
Yeah,
but I haven't.
I had the
tested
grow
enough.
watts to begin with, and they worked. But after I got the EG4 stuff, I'm like, man, it's a different world. Especially once they got where they were making Lux Power was making the stuff. I mean, these inverters, the ones that's rated for the outside, man, those things are so quiet. I mean, it's just crazy. Like the 12,000 XP is quiet. I mean, all the hybrid ones are quiet. It's just nothing like having a quiet inverter.
Yeah, I have to wear hearing protection here. And actually, before I get to this question or statement, Matt, how loud is your 6000 XP being in your RV's storage compartment? Like, is it obnoxious inside?
No. In the RV itself, I really don't hear much of anything. Now, I do some videos in there, and I'll use the one with the little fuzzy mics when I'm down there, because otherwise I get wind off the breeze off the river and everything anyway. But to be honest with you, I haven't had, not in the RV. Now, you can hear it if you're sitting out and you're out boondocking somewhere and you're sitting out in the middle of the woods or something, and you've got the bay doors open and stuff. You can hear it, especially if the sun's out. Now, if the sun's not out, there's no,
MPPTs
how they are when they're charging. They get that extra Yeah.
Yeah, they ramp
Those
up.
fans kick in and it really starts to rock, and especially being in the bay when it's warm outside. Because you got to remember today for me it was 95 degrees outside. So 95 degrees, humidity's cooking, and those fans are running, especially when that solar comes out. When that sun hits, you're popping in 4,000 watts into those things. They light up. Those fans really light up.
Oh yeah.
That video.
Yeah, video's still gone. Retro. There you go. Retro's
Oh,
image.
the video is working again.
I'll just put my entire, I'll just put my entire in my entry in. Gosh, I can't read, y'all. This is pitiful. Cannot read out loud. I'll just put my entry in from Australia. You guys will fly down and install it if I win, right?
Oh,
You know,
I don't know if we can make that happen, but
if we get the system and the whole system sponsored, we will also need to get the travel and accommodation sponsored. So,
bam.
yes.
But
In this
only if you
anybody
can
out there
promise
interested in
kangaroo run
sponsoring
by.
this, let us know.
That's right. Accepting sponsors. Okay, I should probably read before I start putting stuff up here so I don't embarrass myself. All right. How about this one? I didn't read it though. How long do you feel comfortable to walk away from your system and not check on it?
I rarely check on my stuff. Now, look, this is how I don't check on mine. I was at work, and sometimes I work days and nights. I work swing shifts. I work different hours. So middle of the night, my system goes off because it got down to 5% because I hadn't paid attention to it, and it had been cloudy and stuff like that. I didn't pay attention, and the lights went out, and my wife's like, "The power's out."
Oh no.
So I had to get my son to turn the grid back on. So I won't have to worry about that when I get the grid boss and everything hooked up. It'll be automatic. But basically, it runs so long now that I got 100 kilowatts of batteries. I never really had to think about it. But we had several days of rain and everything. And we use a lot of power. And I guess I should have been looking at it.
So here's the way I see it. For me, like I used to check on it every hour on the hour, but not because I felt like I needed to make sure it was doing what it was supposed to be doing. It was because, oh my gosh, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Like it was this addiction of like, look at the sun, look at the batteries, look at the everything. And like, so Jeremy, I don't know if Jeremy, are you in the chat? Who won the mini split a couple of weeks ago. He's got that thing installed and he was like messaging me. He's like, man, I can't stop looking at the app, like watching the sun, just like the air conditioner's on and it's like just cooling down my house and it's just the sun. It's like, oh, it's so cool, man. So yeah, go ahead, Matt.
When I first installed mine, it was exactly the same way. I was watching it nonstop. I was very uncomfortable leaving it alone. I was watching it. And when I added the DIY battery in January, actually, that was what changed everything because I went from, the 15 kilowatts to 30 kilowatts. And when you're pulling in 30 a day and you're using on an average 20 to 25, it's very rare that I have battery issues in the summer. But no, I don't watch it near as much now anymore. Now I'm watching YouTube all the time instead of watching instead of watching the batteries. But I've also with Starlink, I did hook up the Solar Assistant and Home Assistant, and so everything's automated. So I've got temperatures to watch the dogs. I've got temperatures to watch for if I've got grid hooked up. If it'll tell me if the grid goes out, it'll tell me if there's storms in the area. It'll tell me if the temperature in the bay or in the front goes too high or anything it acts up whatsoever. So I don't worry about it too much at all anymore. But I did at first. I did obsess on it probably the first. My wife would say I obsessed on it all the way up till today, but I would say that it's probably only been the last few months I've let off quite a bit.
Nice. Yeah.
It is an addiction though. I think we can all confess.
Yeah. It's just
I started out with a little Harbor Freight panel and just to play around with, and eventually bought a grow watt inverter, one lithium battery, and 10 solar panels. It was over after that. I was like, man, I got to get my whole house off grid. And I just kept buying it as I could.
Oh man, Well, guys, we are 10 minutes out from shutting down the stream. Sorry, everybody. That's what we do. We do it for an hour unless we get 5 super chats. We don't ask for super chats. It's just a rule that we've got. We've got a couple more questions. Off-grid wannabe. He says, what y'all gonna do in 2027 when Homeland Security shuts down all the inverters and batteries? I don't know if this is like for real off-grid wannabe or like just playing on all the fears of like all the back doors from China or
That's why you have backups.
Yeah, that's right. That's why you keep your 6,000 XPs.
That's why they call it off grid.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. And is there something specific about 2027 that's going around that I'm unaware of? I don't know. Yeah.
I think they were talking about that same stuff that was going around online from months ago about the Chinese inverters having the kill switches in them and all that. But nobody has any proof. That's just more. I'm not saying it's propaganda. I'm not saying they aren't doing that. I guarantee you somebody's doing it. But it's a lot of propaganda, so people are not more self-reliant, and they're scared to be more self-reliant. Government wants you to be relying on them. All right, I know I'm going on political. I try not to do this.
Just shut my channel
but
down.
It's just in my nature that people want to control other people. It's always been like that, and it's always going to be like that. People want to control other people, and they don't want you to be free. And I just want you to be free. And one way is to be more self-reliant with power or your food supply or whatever you can do. Just try to do it. Don't be scared. That's all I'm saying.
I think there was a misconception about that too, from what I heard when you got into the details of that. Those inverters that got shut down were not real. They were being supported by the real company, but they were actually imposter inverters, and they cut off the licenses that were unreal. And that's what actually happened.
Yeah.
That's at least that's what I heard. I don't know how true it is. It could be hearsay. It could be a complete baloney story. And
I remember
and all that.
That was the I forgot what the brand is now. I think it was like somebody that makes the same inverter like Solarks or something like that, but it's the same exact inverter, but it's just not their brand, and they weren't allowed to sell it in the U.S. So people went around them and bought it off of Alibaba and all this. So basically, it's like somebody buying a license for a state to sell something there, and then when somebody else sold something there, basically your license got turned off. So they turned their inverter off. So that wasn't exactly a kill switch. That's just in the firmware update. It just made you have to have the code or whatever, and you didn't have it because you didn't buy it from the right people.
Here's the thing: if you go down to Mexico, I don't know if you can do this, but hypothetically, go down to Mexico, get yourself like a knockoff Ford Raptor, right? And then you install OEM Ford software onto it, and somehow magically get this to work, and Ford finds out about it. You better believe the next update's going to kill your fake Raptor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that the situation we're talking about?
That basically.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, Elkwood Bear, Eric, what's going on, man? Eric, with the Starlink coverage, 10 acres, how wooded is that? My issue is trees and leaves. Okay. I don't think it's actually going to work. My goal is to put in actual like Ethernet, cables between with backhaul going back to the main router, and I'm gonna try to space it out and hope that I can get it to work. This is still a little bit theoretical in my head. Initially I'd heard that it would support up to 12 mesh nodes. Like I said, they've kind of walked that back a little bit. Most of my property is wooded. But I'm thinking just all the places I go on it, all the way down to the sawmill, all the way out to the goat pasture, all corners of the pasture, back into the, the fort area and the nerf zone, and like everything, just have the whole property, everywhere that could practically go, covered.
Yeah.
I think it'd just be cool.
It seems like everybody's talking about this inverter thing. They're talking about the die is the same thing as the Solark and all that. So bottom line is the only way they were able to do that is because they had the Wi-Fi dongles connected, and it downloaded a firmware update. So just don't have the Wi-Fi.
Unplugged.
And just
firmware cannot jump an air gap,
available
right?
to be downloaded anything to it.
Yeah. Until that is the nice thing. Like it might be kind of. I've always thought about how hokey is it that we get these inverters in, and then we got to plug the Wi-Fi in? Why isn't that thing, automatically in place? And I'm so
Because some
glad.
people don't want it.
I'm so glad that that thing is hanging off the side. So at any moment, if you feel like it, you can just unscrew it. Of course, I'm going to leave mine on forever, and then they're going to shut my stuff down. And here we go. But yeah,
Stephen Frazier says he's
I'll
got
be
his
with
whole
you.
38 acres on Wi-Fi.
is that right? No way.
What do you got? Oh man,
Dang.
that's crazy.
5G
Works for
Wi-Fi,
Cisco.
38 acres. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's a big mesh.
Dang.
Dude, you got a tower?
it's
I just want my
got a huge
Bluetooth to
tower
go that
from-
far.
Yeah.
10 kilowatt, tower out there just blasting it. Oh man.
Point to point.
Okay.
Yeah, some of those point to points, I think they go like a mile or two, right?
No, man, so when COVID hit, funny enough, I'm sitting here at my house running my entire property, or not my property, my entire business web agency off of a hotspot on my mobile phone. So I had like 3 hotspots I was paying for. So I got a guy downtown Tyler, like all the way down one of the high-rise buildings, and I'm a 10-minute drive from it. I think 7 miles as a crow flies, but the topography worked out to where there's just one hump right in between us, and like where I'm at over here. Downtown is over here, and I'm over here, and I was gonna get him to. I bought these 2 Ubiquity uh, antennas or radios. Looked like a big old dish, about the size of a large pizza, and I was gonna actually have him beam his internet from his office building through his window all the way down to my house. And I installed a tower that my Starlink is on now. And according to the math, and like it should have worked. We could never get it to work, and finally ended up because I was crimping my cables wrong. So turns out it was error on my side, and we never even got him to talk one time. We gave up on the project, and now they're just sitting up here in the attic. But yeah, they're pretty impressive. They'll go like 30 miles.
Somebody said, "Can we get Chump
Crypto
Change
table
XD on here to talk about crypto mining?" I think we talked about that before, but I don't know if we talked. Did we ever talk to him?
I don't think
can't remember.
I don't think we've heard from him or back from him, or I don't know. Adam's been setting up a lot of these interviews.
Yeah.
Or
We're already out to I think July with this now, so with the guest, we did this one kind of last minute.
What do y'all use to monitor your systems without the Wi-Fi dongle? Ron Gilmore.
Solar
Ron.
Assistant. Some people are doing.
I'd used Solar Assistant for a while. When I switched over to these newer inverters from the old EXs rather, it stopped working, and I haven't got it figured back out. So, excuse me, Matt. You have any idea? You use anything?
I know I've played a little bit with it. I would like to see if I could get an ESP32 hooked up to it, because I know I can do it, but it's just a matter of getting the time to get the programming right and to get the wires connected, especially with Andy's, not Andy, what's his your other host? Adam. With that one, he released it on getting to that RS485 connection the other day, a few weeks ago. That's the key right there, because you can get that to go into an ESP32. We can hook it straight right into the Home Assistant. And I did that with the Victron, but I can't get it to work, or I haven't played with it really on the 6000 XP, but I'll bet it would work. I bet it would work pretty easily. You just got to get the programming just right. But I haven't done anything. I do Solar Assistant for my batteries, and I haven't done anything for the inverter. I just use the dongle.
Oh, all right.
Which is my problem when I do the upgrades blindly too. I see them, I go, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'll be the first one shut off.
That's right. Ooh, firmware. Yeah.
December 2026, I'll shut all my Wi-Fi off and wait for everyone else to tell me it's okay, since we're worried about 2027.
That's funny. Crypto mining is a losing endeavor due to the high hash rate. Some people, man, gosh, of course we all go, man, I just wish we were back, mining whenever we could mine easily on a laptop. But hey, that's where we're at. Just
If you're doing it on
DCA
solar,
every
you're
week.
gonna be a lot better off doing it on solar, because that's usually what people's highest cost is after they buy the equipment, is just running those things. Those things use a ton of power. So
A
if
lot of
you're
power.
getting the power for free, it's gonna be a lot easier for you to make money than other people.
Use all that. That's a good purpose for all those extra feeds off of the inverters. Power up a system where all that extra power goes into a bit mining area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dump loads.
The smart loads, yeah.
Dump the load there,
Mhm.
have them automatically detect it, and have something like Home Assistant crank up all the machines, turn them all on with some remote switches, and just let them run full steam. That's actually a cool project. That'd be a fun one to hook up.
Yeah. Randy says he's having some issues with solar system on his FlexBoss. Haven't tried it yet. So FlexBoss 21, that is. So, yep. I don't know. Be interesting to know what kind of.
I have to try it with my
issues you're having.
FlexBoss whenever I get it all hooked up.
Yeah.
I'm just using the Wi-Fi signature solar one, so you just hook it up to the dongle, and it's just easy. So it should just hook right up.
Yes, sir. So that's it for tonight, guys. We're right at time. Matt, tell everybody where they can find you, anywhere on the web, wherever you're at, and kind of close out.
MattManSolar.com, and I also do a live stream on Sundays at 4:00, and you can find me on YouTube, of course, on MattMan Solar.
Very cool.
Bam.
Pretty simple, straightforward at this point.
Yes, sir. We've got a link to his channel in the description. It's his name, so click on it and get on over there. Rodney, see your way out. And well,
yeah, and this one went by pretty fast. I can't believe it's
they
already
always
9
do.
o'clock.
I know,
But
right?
we definitely appreciate everybody showing up for the stream. It says we got 65
Thank
people in
you,
here
everybody.
right now. You guys can be doing anything at this point, and you still come back here every week. A lot of you guys, we see the same names, and we definitely appreciate you. So, keep on showing up. We're gonna try to do some giveaways randomly when you guys are here. The guests, I mean the crew that's always here, I guess, every week. So without telling anybody else, so we'll see how that goes.
What's up with all you guys showing up late, man? I'll tell you what.
Jetfire.
Oh yeah, and Randy, looking forward to the full install of that's Mitch's system, my boss build project going on. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I've got like I don't even know how many hundreds of gigs of footage already shot. Joe had to hook me up or help me out with a NAS just so I could get through this project. We're there. So I'm figuring it all out. But yeah, guys, I've got a lot of stuff coming on that. I just started editing a little bit of it. It's going to be a couple weeks before I get back on that project. And then I'll start doing some more daily stuff. We're actually kind of pausing, just so you know where we're at on the boss build. We're pausing the inverters and all that. We might go ahead and get the grid boss wired in, but not really do anything, because we still need to actually we changed the plans. We're going to build out an entire back porch or patio or whatever. So that's going to take some time, and then we're going to put the solar on top of that, and then we're going to tie it all in, because there's no reason
Pergola.
to switch it. There we go. Big old pergola. That's the word I was looking for. Big old pergola. There's no reason to do it until we've got the solar present, because they're not doing like a free night plan or anything like that. So we're going to leave their electrical system as it is until then. So we'll get back over there at Mitch's house and keep you guys updated on that with the daily stuff. Guys, a lot of farm life. John Montgomery, looking for a couple guys. Jay Holmes, man, a whole bunch of people. Roy, y'all jumped on here. Good to see everybody. America East Texas Homestead, encouraging you to live faithfully and prepare thoroughly for good times or bad. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.
Thanks.